Hello, everybody. How is it already 8 o'clock? Welcome to Online Steps to Success. I am so glad that you are here. My name is Allison Dahlke, and today we are talking all about the scientific secrets of success. They're actually not really secrets. There's research that backs them, and so we're going to talk about that tonight. So as everybody is joining us, I'll give you a few minutes. Hello to all of you. I have my phone plugged in. I'm going to have to not touch that cord. Okay. How are you guys tonight? Are you doing well? Happy Tuesday. I'm glad you're here. I have a lot to share with you. Tuesday's your favorite day of the week. I love it. I love it. Okay, we're gonna get started. So my name is Allison Dahlke. Again, if you are new here, I am a Superstar Director. I live in Edmond, Oklahoma, just north Oklahoma City, and I have been with Cincy 10 years now. So I am glad that you are here. I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary last month. So, almost exactly a month ago. So 10 years in 1 month. So there you go. My chair's kind of low tonight. My kids get on my... Well, I don't know. All right, so tonight we are going to talk about getting outside your comfort zone, but also working within your strengths, because I am big on working within your strengths. So when I say getting outside your comfort zone, I don't mean you have to talk to strangers all the time if you aren't talking to strangers. Thanks, it's just not really fixed. It's just kind of straight. Thank you, though. Somebody said they like my hair. So that's not what I mean by getting outside your comfort zone, but we are going to talk a little bit about what getting outside your comfort zone means when it comes to setting goals and achievement. So this is all about how to make you a better Cincy consultant, how to make you a better business owner, and in the process make you a little bit better of a person too. This can help you in your life with your family, in your life with your spouse, with your friends at work, your coworkers, whatever it may be. So we are going to get started. And I should mention, this training is really for those of you who are really working at growing your business, working on growing yourself, changing who you are and becoming a little bit better every single day. So it's for those of you really pursuing this as a business opportunity. You really want to grow, you have goals set, you're ambitious. So that is who tonight is for. If you'd say that's maybe not me, hang out with us anyways. You're welcome to stay. But I didn't want to overwhelm you if that's not where you're at. So let's get started. Oh, and before we really get started, here's what you need to know. You are so much stronger than you think you are. And sometimes you just have to remind yourself that. Sometimes you need to look in the mirror and remind yourself who you are. Spend some time by yourself, quietly, in prayer or reflection or whatever it is that you do. Sometimes we simply don't stop and take care of ourselves. And that's so important because it's so easy to forget who we are and just how incredibly powerful we are. You have control of your future. You have control of the direction of your life. And I know that you know that because you are here tonight and you are taking control of things that are happening. And I'm so excited. Now, that's not to say, of course, that we don't all experience obstacles, that we don't all experience things that come our way that we would say we didn't necessarily plan for. That is part of life. If we don't plan and prepare for those unexpected things, if we don't have the margin and the space, of course those things can knock us down, and sometimes we get knocked down even when we're ready. But don't forget that day to day you are strong, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you can do really great things. So that is what we're going to do here tonight. We're going to do really great things. You're going to do really great things. You might want to grab something to take notes on, because I was a teacher and that's how I roll, with notes and points. So Oh, for those of you that it's after 10, I'm so sorry. I know that's going to be hard. With this worldwide business, what a struggle that is, right? What a blessing that we have the trouble of finding the most ideal time for everybody to join us, because we literally have consultants all over the world. What a huge, amazing blessing. So wherever you are, some of you across the world, where it's early or late or whatever time it is, thanks for being here. And if you don't catch us live, hopefully you're catching us at a more convenient time. All right, so let's talk tonight. We are talking tonight about the science of achievement. So there are things that we can do, tactics that we can put in place to actually help improve our achievement and actually help us reach our goals easier and more strategically. So we're going to talk about 4 different tactics tonight as you're setting your December goals, which hopefully you have already set them, or as you're looking ahead to the new year. In a couple weeks, not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, we are going to be talking about, which will be December 19th. That'll be our last online steps of the year. We'll be talking about designing your year for next year and what that means. And it's not nearly as overwhelming as it sounds. And hopefully you will tune in for that. But tonight we're going to talk about the science behind achievement and how you can help yourself with these 4 simple tactics to become a better leader, to become a better business owner. So whether you're just a consultant starting out and you're getting your business up and running, or you are, let's say you're a director and you have a team and you're working on helping yourself achieve as well as them, hopefully this will all be helpful to you. And I'm going to break each thing down and kind of give you some tips. I will tell you a lot of this content, all this content tonight, except for what I'm interjecting, it came from a podcast that I've been listening to called Lead to Win by Michael Hyatt. If you are a podcast listener, I highly suggest it. It is fantastic. And that is where tonight's content is coming from. So we're going to talk about the science behind achievement. So for me, when it comes to goal setting, I will be honest, I am often, I'm a huge goal setter. If you've ever watched before, I've shown you my goals. I've shown you what my goal board looks like. But a lot of times I find myself setting goals right in the middle of my comfort zone, right where I know that they're probably going to happen. It's not too much of a push. And I know it's going to happen. You'd have to wonder, is that really a goal? I mean, if we write it on paper and we achieve it, yes, it's good. But we're going to talk a little bit about how we get past that, how we grow a little bit and get into that better place where we're growing and we're actually achieving a little bit more than we even thought we could. Because really honestly, some of you might just be starting out and you get really fired up, and we see this all the time with new consultants. You start, you join, you're so excited, you're fired up, and you have a goal in mind, and then you hit some roadblocks and you face some obstacles and you run out of your warm market and maybe things get a little bit difficult, right? And that's when it gets really easy to say, well, I don't know if I still want to do this. I don't know if I have what it takes. So hopefully the tactics that we talk about tonight are going to help you overcome that, help you set goals that are a little bit more ambitious, and that help us grow month to month. All right, so we're going to talk about 4 research-based tactics to help you reach your goals. The first tactic in helping you achieve greater things from your business is challenge. Now, when we talk about setting those goals in our comfort zone, there's really 3 different kinds of goals. We can set goals in 3 kinds of areas is kind of what I'm saying here. But our goals should stretch us without overwhelming us. So there's a balance there. So we'll talk about what those look like. So the first zone would be in the comfort zone, right? So we set a goal. We know we can probably do it. It's not too far of a stretch. We've written it down. We feel really good about the goal, but we're probably not growing a lot in the process to get there, right? That's the comfort zone goal. I'm very, very guilty of this kind of goal. Not really pushing myself, not stretching too hard. The second kind of goal is what we would call the discomfort zone. This is where we feel like we write it down and there's a tiny bit of fear. There's a little bit of uncertainty. We're not quite sure how we're going to do that. And maybe we're not sure if we're personally capable. Maybe I don't know if I can actually do that. There's a little bit of discomfort there. And maybe we don't have the full plan on how it's going to happen. But we know we're going to have to stretch to get there. Okay? Then there's the third type of goal, which would be just like the delusional zone, where like there's no way it's happening, you're absolutely insane, it's too far of a stretch, like the chances of you reaching that goal are so far. You might be setting that goal to like try to impress yourself, try to impress somebody else, but the chances of it happening are slim to none. So we want to be in the sweet spot. We don't want to be in the comfort zone, but we don't want to be in the delusional space either. If we want our business to move forward and we really want to grow, and we want to grow personally, we want to grow our leadership skills, we want to be right in the middle in that discomfort zone. So we're a little uncomfortable. We're not in agony. We're not overwhelmed, but we're kind of uncomfortable. And the thing about that zone, that discomfort zone, is it's going to be different for everybody. My discomfort zone when it comes to sales might be very different than your discomfort zone when it comes to sales, right? Because depending on my customer base versus your customer base or experience or whatever, everybody's discomfort zone is going to be different. So that's really important to remember, especially for those of you leading teams, or even if you've got your first new recruit and they're setting their goals, it's really important to understand that what the goal that they set may be in a discomfort zone for them, when you could be looking at that goal thinking, that's easy, like that's way too comfortable. Well, we have to take into account their experience, their confidence, their knowledge. So that may be discomfort for them. Your discomfort may look different. So keep in mind that our zones are all going to be different, but what you want, that sweet spot you want, is where you're just a little uncomfortable. When you look at the goal, it's a little bit fearful. So there's trouble when we set goals that are too easy. They don't capture our attention. They don't capture our imagination. They don't challenge us. They're really kind of boring. We don't have to think about them because we're probably going to hit them. That's not really any way to grow if you're not really thinking about that. We really need goals that are going to captivate us, that are going to compel us, that are going to push us forward. We talk a lot on this live about vision and how important that is. And it's important to take vision for your life and for your future and use that to set those discomfort zone goals. You want it to be compelling. You want it to be challenging. You want it to be something you have to think about, right? On the flip side, when we set goals far too high in that delusional zone, we just kind of disengage. We check out. They don't seem reasonable to us, and we just completely think they're not even on our radar because we know it's not happening, right? So maybe for a few days we're all pumped about it, and then we're like, yeah, that's not going to happen. So that's why we really want to set goals around our business that command our attention and our focus. So that's kind of a test factor for you. If I set a goal and it's not going to take my attention to hit it, it's not going to take my focus to hit it, I probably don't need to worry about it. Or it's probably in the wrong area, right? But if I set a goal that is going to take my attention, that is going to need my focus, then I know, okay, I'm probably right there in that discomfort zone where I want to be to help me grow. And the thing about setting goals for business and even just for your life in general is that they require us to stretch, they require us to grow, and that's what we want. I want you growing, you want to be growing. We're not going somewhere on accident, we're going somewhere on purpose, and that's why it's so vital that our goals are right there in that discomfort zone. So we need the challenge of a goal, right? We need the challenge of the growth, and that is the first tactic in helping you achieve goals. A couple more things about that challenge. There are things that keep us from setting challenging goals. A lot of it is fear. A lot of it is fear of how we're going to feel if we don't reach it. Are we going to be embarrassed? Are we going to be able and capable to actually achieve that goal? Do I actually have the skill set to reach the goal, right? So there can be fear sometimes behind setting a goal in a discomfort zone. It's not called discomfort zone for nothing. It's going to be a little uncomfortable. That's right where we want to be. But we want to make sure that those negative emotions that rise whenever we're in that discomfort zone, that we're recognizing that we do need that challenge, that we can face those negative emotions and we can choose to do something about it. So when you set a goal that's a little discomfort, it's a little bit uncomfortable to you. You're pushing yourself a little bit. You're thinking, this is really not in the comfort zone. That's good. That's where we want to be. We don't want to be in the comfort zone. We want to be growing. One of the best ways to combat that fear of actually saying you're going to do it is by just acknowledging what the fear is. So when we say, okay, what is it that's kind of like making me clench my teeth? What's making me nervous about this? What am I worried about? Am I worried I'm going to fail? What does it mean if I fail? So if you say, okay, let's say you're a leader, you're a director or higher, and you're setting some goals for next year, and you're saying, you know what? I want to have a certain number of promotions in my team every single month. And you and you go back and look at your data and you look at your team and how it's growing, and you set a goal that's a little uncomfortable for you. But then that fear starts to creep in. We talk a lot about the enemy telling us what we can and can't do, that negative talk rising up. So you start to hear that negative talk. Oh, you can't do that. Your team can't do that. Like, there's no way. It's not going to happen. So what do? We acknowledge the fear and acknowledge it. We're very clear that it's there. We're not going to pretend like it's not there. And then we're going to talk all the way through it. Okay, so what? I'm going to set the goal and say, this is the number of promotions I want on my team in January. So what? We've never had a promotion in January. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of not ever having a promotion in January. We've been there before. Nobody died. We're going to be okay. So if we don't have one, that's okay. I'm not really scared of that. Am I going to be embarrassed because maybe I told my team I want this? Maybe. Or I could look at it and think, yeah, but they saw me working towards a goal. We didn't hit it. We're going to reevaluate, try again. If you will take all the fear and dissect it all the way to the end, if that doesn't happen, am I going to be embarrassed? Am I going to feel like a failure? Is somebody going to be disappointed in me? Am I losing my job? No, you're not losing your job. That's the beautiful thing about this, is you get to challenge yourself and push yourself and grow in an environment where you are safe. And nothing is greatly depending on the goals that you set. It's a safe environment where you can step into the discomfort zone, and that is where we want to be. But we need to walk all the way through the fear so that we're standing strong on our 2 feet saying, no, I know what could happen if I don't make it, and I'm not scared of that. So what? I'm not scared of that. So what? I told my team, this is what we're going to do, and if it doesn't happen, it might not happen. But we're going to try anyways. I'm going to push towards it. It's a little bit uncomfortable. That's where we're going to go. So talk yourself all the way through the fear, whatever it is. Talk yourself through it. That's one way that you can kind of identify the threat that you feel when you get into that discomfort zone, and you can kind of negate it. Okay? So we need the challenge. When it comes to achievement, we need a challenge. That's why we're going to set goals not in our comfort zone, not in delusional zone, but right in the middle in our discomfort zone, a place that's going to push us, a goal that's going to command our attention and our focus. If you're not thinking about your goals are not big enough. If you're not thinking about your goals are not big enough, okay? I want to give you an example. One of our superstar directors, Amy Mark Charles, I saw today, she posted, or I don't know when she posted it, but she is really trying to get her husband on the boat. She's earned the trip for herself, and she wants to get her husband, John Paul, on the boat. And so she broke it down. Here's what I have to do to get him on the boat. I have December and January to do it. So there's that fear of, shoot, I haven't done it. Can I do it? And she walked herself all the way through the fear. Here's what I have to do. She wrote down, I have to sell 29 something in the next 2 months. And she's like got a tracking board. Okay, here's a $63 online order. I get to subtract that. Here's a party order of $1,000 or whatever. I get to subtract that. And so she's tracking what it takes. That's one way that we overcome that fear, by coming up with that plan. Okay, let's move on to our second tactic, which is competition. So this is really important, especially for you leaders to think about. And even if you're not a leader and you are new to our Cincy family, or maybe you have just a couple people on your team, competition is really, really vital for our achievement. We have become a little bit politically correct these days, where everybody gets a participation trophy. We're so glad you were on the soccer team. Here is your trophy. Thanks for coming to gymnastics. Here is your trophy. But we were made for competition. There is something in our being that needs the competition. It helps us do better and achieve more. So, and the thing about competition is it means somebody wins and it means somebody loses, and that's okay. But competition, and this is the most important thing about competition, and I'm going to give you an example in a minute, is that competition shows us what's actually possible. It shows us and reminds us what's actually possible. Think about just even like people who run marathons, or like people who run the fastest mile. Like the fastest, I don't know the numbers, but people keep running faster miles, like keep breaking the record, because it's competition, because The competition says this is how fast you can go, and someone else says, oh yeah, I'm gonna go faster. And that is why we need that competition sometimes. Competition is really, really healthy and really helpful in helping us achieve our goals. Now, there are rules around competition, and we're gonna talk about those. But sometimes it just simply shows us what's possible. And we need that sometimes. You know, sometimes you need that like feel-good movie to remind you what's possible. Hi, Bubba. Mwah. I love you.
I love you too, Mommy.
So much. You sleep so good. Wipe your face. You have a mustache.
Yeah. What?
What kind?
Come on.
Sweet dreams, my love.
Sweet dreams.
Oh, thanks, baby. He said sweet dreams, you too. Okay, so competition, we need it because it shows us what's possible. So if you're a leader thinking about this as you're going into the new year, start thinking about ways that you can input that competition in your team if you don't have a sense of that already. We want to do it in a healthy way, and I'll give you some tips for that in just a minute. But the competition sometimes is that thing that drives us, that keeps us moving forward, okay? And also competition is sometimes that thing that will keep us from quitting, because some of us are so, you know, geared to win. Some of us are so like, I can't quit because they're not quitting, right? Sometimes that's just the way our brains work. Like, I don't want to quit because I know she's not going to quit. Sometimes we just need that healthy competition to keep us moving. So here's the thing about competition though, and this is really important for those of you that are leaders to think about. It only works, competition only works if winning is actually possible. So if you set the bar super, super high for your team and no one thinks they can actually win, then it's not going to work at all. Setting up a competition or some sort of thing where people can rank themselves or see themselves competing, it's not going to help at all. So you have to be careful when it comes to team goals to make sure that whatever you're working towards, what everybody's working towards, is actually achievable, okay? So I'll give you an example of this. I've been doing this for 10 years. And I think you kind of just get in your ruts and you get in your space and you get in your place where you think you know what's possible and you think you know how to do this. And I recently was kind of going through a recruiting rut where I was having trouble finding new team members. And I've gone through peaks and valleys of recruiting, right? Like over 10 years, you just do. And I kind of reached out to some superstar directors, and what's funny is a lot of them said, oh yeah, me too, or oh yeah, here's just what you need to do. It's you do the same things you've always done, X, Y, and Z, and all this stuff. And a lot of it was really not helpful. But somebody, well, I'll just tell you who was. Another superstar director, Chloe Cox, got on and said, hey, you just need to set the goal higher. Like, you just need to challenge yourself. I think I was actually asking them about recruiting for my team, but she kind of called me out and said, hey, I think you just need to set your recruiting goal really high. And I was like, oh man, she's right. Like, well, actually at first I got really mad and I was like, no, I don't. My recruiting goal is just fine. But what I didn't realize is she was engaging me in competition. Not necessarily me against her, but her just saying, hey, no, you need to do something good. Like, you have the ability to do something good. You need to challenge yourself. And I was like, oh crap, she's really right. Like, she's right. I do need to challenge myself. I do need to push myself. And sometimes that competition in someone is really just what helps you realize, oh, it is possible. It is something I can do. And so that, as a leader, is something you want to be able to draw out in people. You want to, for one, be an example in your business of what is possible when it comes to sales, when it comes to recruiting, all of those things. Because then your team can look and say, oh, I guess you can sell 2,000 every month. Oh, because she's doing it. Oh, I guess you can get recruits on a consistent basis because she's doing it. We want competition to show us what's possible. It's really, really important. Maybe you're saying, okay, well, that's great, but I just started. My director's not super active. I'm not really involved in a team. That's okay. You create competition amongst you. You are right now watching a video with 200 other people. Find and make a community that you can engage in. You want to find people that are like-minded like you. You don't have to be on the same team. Heck, you could go on the consultant locator, find people in your area and just reach out to them. Hey, are you running your business? Are you building your business? I'm looking for somebody to help challenge me. I'm looking for someone to help hold me accountable. I want to I want some competition in a healthy way, not in a way like we're taking each other's customers, but in a way that pushes you forward, right? That's what we want, is we want someone that's going to push us forward and make us better. That's kind of what that competition is and why it's necessary. And there's nothing wrong with looking at somebody and saying, I want to beat her. Like, I want to be better than her. It's in us. We feel guilty about it sometimes, but it is in us because we want to win. We want to win. That's why we don't quit, because we want to see it through to the end, and you know someone else is not quitting. So that is sometimes you've got to find that competition. You've got to help create that. So those of you that are leaders, I think it would be helpful for you to really spend some time this holiday season as you look into next year about how you can really create competition on your team in a healthy way that is supportive, that's important, all of those things. So that is really something that you can think about. How can I really help create that sense of healthy competition within my team? Okay, so we need to be challenged, right? We can't set goals in that comfort zone. We can't set them in the delusional zone. We have to have goals in the discomfort zone that challenge us, that take our attention and take our focus. If your goal is not challenging you or taking your focus, it is too small, okay? Then the second tactic was we need competition because it's healthy, it drives us forward, and it reminds us what's actually possible. So if you don't yet have that, find somebody even on Facebook, and you can even watch them from afar. You don't even have to tell them, hey, I'm trying to beat you. But just watch what they're doing. See how they're engaging with people. And use that as your source of competition. Like, okay, I see what she's doing. Like, I want to do it too, or I want to do it better. And use that as your source of competition. Okay? Yes, and Sarah, I was going to tell this story. Sarah Thomas and Jocelyn Hillman are both Superstar directors in my organization. And what's funny is they would always see their names. They didn't know each other, but they would always see their names ranked like in top PRV, and they were always 1 and 2, flip-flopping back and forth, 1 and 2. And they tell this story now, like Jocelyn would always see Sarah like, I gotta beat her, and Sarah would always see Jocelyn like, I gotta beat her. Like, they didn't know each other, they didn't know who the other person was, but they had this kind of just unspoken competition between each other, like constantly trying to beat each other. And it's so fun now because they are really, really great friends now. And it's just how their story began, was in that healthy competition of trying to do just a little bit better than that person. Competition is so, so healthy. So the third tactic we're going to use to help us reach our achievement, to help us reach our goals, is community. You know this in your soul. You know that you need community. That's one of the reasons we work in teams in Cincy, is because community is incredibly important when it comes to achievement. So there's that self-made man myth. It is just a myth. Nobody really ever has done anything by themselves. It's too hard. Sometimes we need somebody to look at us and say, you are powerful. You can do this. Remind us why we're doing what we're doing. And that is so, so important. So, hold on, I have so many notes. Let me see what I was going to say. Here's something important about community. So, a few years ago, I kind of went through this thing where I was sharing my goals just with the World Wide Web on my blog every single month. There's research that shows that actually when we share our goals that with everybody, it doesn't actually help us achieve our goals. But when we share our goals selectively with a community that's actually going to help us reach those goals, it can actually help us more positively, and whatever the word is, not more positively, but just more, I don't know, I lost my train of thought. It just helps us reach our goals more efficiently and in a better manner when we are sharing them selectively with the people who are going to help us reach it. So that is what that community is for. Hopefully you are in a team where there's a team Facebook page, there's some sort of community happening. If you're not, we have a really fantastic Just Cincy Consultants page where you can go and learn all kinds of amazing things and be in community with people right there. So don't necessarily just think I just can't do this and I can't reach my goals because I don't have a great team. That's not what it's about. It's about finding the community that you need. Sometimes we have to seek it out. It's about building your own community. So if you are brand new, this is so much more fun to do with other people, and you want to start building your team. You want to start building your Cincy empire, as Laura Godwin calls it, and really grow up with your team and your community. You want to build a community, and you can do that even if you don't have a super engaged leader. Remember, we're not about excuses. We're all about solutions. So we want to be working closely with our community. We want to be sharing our goals in a supportive community that's going to help us reach them. And that is the beautiful thing about a team, about being involved in a team, is that we can really help reach our goals. Here's something that's really cool. Oh no, that's the fourth point. Never mind. So community. If you are thinking right now, okay, I am a leader or I am a team and my community is just not that great, or I don't feel like I'm doing a good enough job, this is the time, this is the season for you to really start brainstorming. What does that look like? How can I better engage my community? How can I make it work better long term? That's what you start working towards. Ask other leaders, what are you doing to engage the community in your team? How are you helping them encourage and support each other? As the leader of your team, you don't want to be the only person encouraging. You don't want to be the only person offering ideas. When we talk about community is, when you think about what a community really is, a community is when everybody comes together to help each other. So that's what you want your team to be. You don't want it to be solely run and led and only heard of by you, right? You want it to be something that everybody is engaged in, that everybody is centered around, and everybody is contributing to. So think about, as a leader, how can I help create that? How can I help everybody be a part of the bigger whole where everybody's contributing, everybody's putting forth the community, everybody's encouraging each other toward their goals? And try some things. I am the king of trying things. I am the king of quitting things. When things don't work, I just quit them. But don't be afraid to try something and see if it works. Just because you're trying something doesn't mean that you have to do it forever. If it doesn't work, stop doing it. But that's one of those ways. If I'm really working towards getting community together, maybe I need to try some things to push my team towards a better community. See what works, see what doesn't. Ask other leaders what they're doing. If you aren't involved in a team, then it's time to seek one out. You need the community around you. Another thing you need to think about too is you want the community of your spouse, your family. Share your goals with them. Tell them why you're working towards the goals that you're working towards and how they can help support you. For me, my husband knows that he has to tell me, or like there's times when I'll just say to him, hey, I'm feeling discouraged. I'm feeling like I can't do this. I feel like I'm not cut out for it. And he is the number one person to say, hey, yeah, no, you absolutely can do this. And sometimes it's just him encouraging me, reminding me who I am. I'm like, okay, yes, I can. But because I've shared my goals with him and I know that he's going to help me achieve those. If your spouse isn't supportive, or you say he isn't supportive, start by sharing your bigger goals with him. Sometimes our spouses aren't supportive because we're just peddling, because we're just messing around, because we're really not putting intent into our business. Set some goals in that discomfort zone, and then talk to your spouse about why you're setting those goals, what you want from it, and ask him to help hold you accountable. Okay? So we really need that community. That is the third tactic to helping us achieve success. The fourth one, it's probably my favorite, and we're going to talk maybe the most about this. The fourth tactic to helping achieve success is celebrating. This is my favorite. This is how I lose weight when I need to lose weight. You know, when you gain 10 pounds and you need to lose 10 pounds. I always am offering myself rewards. Okay, you lose 2 pounds, or you track your food like you said you're going to, or you go to the gym 4 times or whatever. Then you get whatever. You get to buy a new book, or you get to buy a new t-shirt, or whatever it is that you want. There's always a reward. Well, the same should be true for your business. We want to celebrate our achievements. We want to celebrate our wins. So every little step forward, every bit of progress we want to celebrate. Now, I'm not saying you go buy yourself a new pair of jeans every single time you lose a pound or every single time you get close to something. But we oftentimes just don't take the time to celebrate. We don't take the time to recognize the gains that we've made. We don't recognize the things that we've done to help make ourselves better, make our families better, make our businesses better. So we want to put celebration in. Now, the important thing to do, or the thing you have to understand about celebration is it's the most impactful when it's already tied to the goal. So you're sitting down, you're looking at January, maybe you're looking at the whole year, and you say, okay, I want to look at January. I'm going to set my goal for January. It's a little uncomfortable. It's going to take my attention. It's going to take my focus, but I know I can do it. If I reach that goal, this is what I get. And it doesn't have to be something that costs you money. Maybe it's just even like it can be the smallest thing. It can be a bath at the end of the day. Honestly, I do this on a daily basis. I have several ways that I celebrate, quote unquote, and I have a running to-do list. I every day evaluate what my top tasks are, the things I want to get done. And if I get a percentage of that to-do list done every day, I celebrate. It might be a bath. It might be I get to watch like 2 shows on Netflix instead of just 1. But it's taking the time to celebrate and not just rushing through every single moment of every day without taking the time to take the reward in. Now, Brian and I do this on a bigger scale too. So we set goals for every 4 months. Every 4 months at a time. And after we reach those goals, assess those goals, there's always an end game. So maybe after the 4 months, we have a little getaway planned. And it's centered around things that we both need to do. So these are our business goals for this 4 months. These are the things we need to do on the daily, on the weekly, on the monthly. We're gonna assess where we are every single month, and then at the end of the 4 months, if we reach the goal, we're taking a mini little trip. We're just for a weekend away or something. And we always have our eye on the goal. So we want to think about how we can celebrate within our teams as well. We want to celebrate well. Some of us are not naturally good at that, at celebrating others' wins, but it's something that's really important as a leader for you to develop and to think about very consciously. How am I going to celebrate them? So for me, I'm not the best. I'm a gift giver. I do love giving gifts, but sometimes I'm not the best celebrator. So one of the things I'm working on for next year is creating promotion boxes. So every time and I did this a couple years ago and then I got away from it and I really miss it. And I actually noticed that my promotions were up the years that I did that, when I celebrated and recognized the thing that I wanted to replicate, right? Because whatever it is that we recognize gets replicated. It's really important. And so I kind of just like that idea of like a monthly mailing. You could do this with your customers. You could do this with whoever if you want to celebrate them. Anybody that you want to celebrate. But I use it specifically for my team. So every time somebody gets to certified, they get a box. It's the same box. It's a fun celebratory box celebrating that person. They get recognized on social media. When we celebrate people in a public setting, it has far greater reach than when we just celebrate them privately. So it's important that we celebrate publicly, where everybody gets to celebrate, as well as privately, but the public celebration has more impact than the private celebration. So those are some things for you to think about. You can even celebrate things too within your customers. So maybe you're doing a special, because you can do a special. It has to be communicated one-on-one. It cannot be communicated via social media. It has to be done strictly on a customer basis. But maybe you have an email that you do that you send out every month, and you offer some kind of special. And in that, if they, do whatever it is you want them to do, place a $50 order on your website or whatever the goal is, then we celebrate them, right, with a reward, with an incentive. Celebration is what we want to work on. So celebration makes us feel good. It makes us want to do more of the thing that got us to the celebration. So it's important to schedule in, plan in, be intentional about the celebrations that you want to have based around your goals. Here's some examples. So let's say even just month to month. So let's say your goals this month are, I'll tell you just some of my goals. My goal is to sell 2,500 in PRV and to have 3 in-person parties and to quit on the 19th. It's actually a goal, is I need to quit working on the 19th and not work again until January. But I have to say it or I won't do it. So like I need to stop working, but I need to be prepared for that. And so that means there's things I have to do. But if I reach all those goals, then I know that whatever's going to happen. Well, actually, our goal this year is we actually are going on a 2-day getaway. Brian and I always take, and this is just a life, this is business and life, but this is something we do, and this is something I think is incredibly impactful. We'll talk a lot more about this on the 19th when we talk about designing your year. But Brian and I take a 2 or 3 day getaway, not expensive, not over the top, but where we just literally get away from the day to day and we assess. So we go and we look at what worked well this year, what didn't, in our business, in our family, in our schedule, in everything. It's almost, there's times when we like, I gotta take a break. Like it's too much. Like we gotta go get ice cream. Like it's too much. I need to take a break. But we literally assess everything. Our business budget, our personal budget, what went well, what didn't go well, how could we be better at this? And we use that to then fuel and plan our year ahead. So then we're setting goals in the discomfort zone for the next year based around everything, based around meal times for our family, based around margin in our scheduling, based around our business goals. How are we going to grow? How are we going to tackle this? So that time away is also kind of a reward for us, because I know like if I don't quit working, we're not getting away, like all those things. So, but you have to set your goals. It could be simple things like even taking 10% of your check and using it to spend it on whatever you want at Target, right? Like I'm getting a new sweater. Like the simplest things can make you so happy. Maybe you need a new planner. Maybe you just want a notebook. And it doesn't have to be monetary. Maybe it's an afternoon to yourself, not working, not chasing kids, because that sometimes is celebration in itself. You decide what the celebration looks like and find people to celebrate with, because when we celebrate publicly, that makes a huge impact. Going to grab drinks with a friend or a couple friends or a couple of team members, that's a huge celebration too. Find ways to celebrate. This is really something I'm working on getting better at with my team for next year for sure, because I want to celebrate better. I want to be a better celebrator. I'm not the best. I feel like I'm always behind. So those are our 4 tactics for helping us reach our rewards, reach our achievements, and get our rewards. That's what I was trying to say. Challenge, we have to have that challenge. Competition, we want to find healthy competition. Community, and then celebration. So that's all the content I have, and it's 8:46. I never end early. So let's do questions. Let's do questions. Let's do questions. All right, so if you have any kind of question for me, you ask away. I'm going to try to keep up. What kind of stuff do you put in your promotion boxes? Okay, that's a great question. Well, I'm revamping. So I did this, I didn't do it this year. So this year's 2017. I did it in 2016 and 2015. I think I started halfway 2015. So I wanted the boxes to be, I liked the idea of a box, because I feel like, you know, if you get like a monthly subscription, it's a box and it's fun to open. I wanted it to feel fun to open. So the first thing in is a postcard that basically says, congratulations on making certified consultant. Your next step is to become a lead consultant. And then it tells them exactly what they have to do to become a lead consultant. So you have to have 500 PRV, 1 active frontline, and 1,000 in team wholesale volume. So there's a postcard that says that. Then I think in my certified boxes, I do one of the molds. So I order the mold things from Scentsy, and there's 2 in a package, and I cut the package open, and they get 1, and I send them 1 bar, and then I send them an example of my sample with my business card. And it was like a sample making kit basically. But I also included instructions like you don't have to use the mold if you want to cut it up. I talked about how to use samples to maximize your business. So That was what I did for my certified box. My lead box, I honestly don't remember what I put in it. See, I told you I'm revamping, but I'm going to redo it and I want everything to be super practical, but I want it to be really fun. So honestly, that box is kind of not that fun. I want it to be a more fun box. So if you guys have ideas, we should totally share ideas on what you could put in your promotion boxes for your team. But I also wanted it to be something that would help move their business forward. So even now, I think something super helpful for new consultants is or products. A lot of times when you're a new consultant, you're using what's in your starter kit and you're not necessarily trying all the new stuff. So a hand cream, a bath bomb, things that they may not be buying yet, right? That's really important. So, okay, hopefully, I mean, that didn't really help because I didn't tell you what I put in my boxes. I do think when I got to Star, I was including like a book on direct sales, one of my favorite books. So there's all kinds of stuff. Okay, I'm going to look at some of y'all's questions because I was answering the one question. Gail says, I feel overwhelmed with trying to set 2018 goals. Where do we start? Gail, I think one of the best places to start is by looking at 2017. So start by looking back at 2017. When it comes to your business, let's just talk strictly business. When it comes to your business, go back and see what you did in your business in 2017. Did you look at your PRV for all 12 months? Look at the new recruits you got. Look at your team size and the health of your team. Look at the interaction you had with your team. Look at all of those things. Look at your profit. Look at your paycheck from every single month. We're in a business to make money, and so you want your income to be increasing month over month, year over year for sure. So set your goals around those things. So, and it's not that you always have to be growing your PRV. Maybe you're in a season where you say, I really want to focus on building my team this year. So I'm going to set my PRV goals in a safe zone, and I'm going to set my recruiting goals in that discomfort zone. And that's what I'm going to push for. That's what I'm going to use to take my time and my energy and my focus, right? Because if we're not setting goals that don't take our focus, then remember, they're too easy. So I think just by looking, we got to look at last year and look at what didn't go well in your business. What are things that you were doing that were time wasters? What can you do more efficiently and more effectively, and set your goals around those things. Hopefully that helps. We are going to talk a lot more about that on the 19th. We're really going to talk about what it looks like to really intentionally design 2018. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. Okay, Lester says, how do I meet new people in small rural areas? Several of you are asking, like, how do I meet people outside my friends and family? I'm 45 minutes away from anywhere. I think it's really important that you understand that this business is not necessarily based on where you are physically. We live in a world that's incredibly connected and digital. Now, it's important that you understand that you cannot solely run your business on social media. Well, I mean, that's not entirely true. Some people are doing it. But what happens in social media, if you're doing it right, is you're actually building relationships that are moving past social media. Does that make sense? So there are so many things that you can do to grow your business. You need to be using social media in a smart way. Whether you're using Instagram or Facebook, I would pick one and I would learn how to use it really, really well. I would work on content that is valuable, that is something people want to engage in. You do not want to look like a salesperson on social media, but you do want to make sure your product is easily visible on social media, however you're choosing to advertise. I'm not a fan of necessarily running your entire business from your personal page. People do it, and people do it successfully. But part of one of the ways that you create engagement and in your business is by creating curiosity and having people actually wondering what it is that you're doing. So maybe it's you're talking about your business on your personal page, but you're not being super specific. And then you have a business page where you are being super specific, that you can point people to, so that you are not the super salesy person. The other thing is you've got to learn about online marketing. Like, we are in a world where that is really what's driving advertising right now, is online marketing. You are a business owner. It's going to take some investment to get your business up and running. So whether that means you're hosting home parties and you're investing in host gifts and you're investing in snacks every once in a while, that's investment. But maybe you're doing the total opposite and you're investing in online marketing and you're learning how to grow your business online. There's a ton to be said for that. You also really need to look at your strengths. What are your personal strengths when it comes to your business? Are you really great with people? You need to utilize that. Ask for referrals. Tell people what you're doing. Be excited and passionate about this business. This isn't just about selling a product to people. This is really about enhancing people's lives. We are in the business of creating environments for people that people want to be in, that smell good, that are beautiful, that are well lit, that are cozy. That's what Scentsy does. We are in that home fragrance, home decor, cozy, create the space you love category, and you have to be living that out. So your home needs to be an example of that. The things that you share need to be an example of that. And you need to be focusing on your strengths. If you're really good at design, like home decor and all those things, that's where you need to focus and run. So if you've got an Instagram page for your business, that's what you need to be focused on. Styling. Here's how you style warmers and diffusers using products around your around your home. What is that doing? It's adding value to people by showing them how to style a product. It's giving them ideas of where they can put things instead of just placing a warmer on a table, right? Styling it into their home. It's talking about light and talking about design. But maybe you're thinking, I don't even know what you're talking about right now. That's not your thing. Maybe you're just really great with people. Then focus on people. Find your strength and use it well. Maybe you're great with words. Maybe you need to be writing more. I don't know, but you've got to figure out how you can best connect with others, what that looks like for you. Honestly, for us right now, it's online marketing and it's being more active in our community. And so it means building real relationships in our community, in our church, in the places we work out, in the places we have coffee. It really depends on where you are and what you do, but don't think that just because you're someplace small or because you feel like you've tapped out of that warm market, those people that you already know that it's over. No, everybody faces that same challenge, and it's really important that you find the skills and teach yourself the skills to learn how to be a marketer, both online and in person, and that you utilize those skills. I don't care if you're an introvert. I don't care if you're an extrovert. You can make this business successful. You need to focus on what you do well. Be a little uncomfortable, right? But don't challenge yourself to do something that's so ridiculous that you'll never do. Okay? So work within your strength while still pushing yourself. Does that make sense? But a lot of it is education. Some of you are just spending your time on social media, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and then copying what everyone else is doing. What everyone else is doing is maybe not working, and you are not everybody else. You are uniquely you. You are a brand in yourself, and you need to start developing your own brand. Yes, you are a Scentsy consultant, but you are you first, and you have skills and talents that only you have. You have experiences and relationships that only you have, and those are the things, and that's a place where you need to start. Okay? Sorry, I got on a soapbox and I paused. Words matter a lot. Words matter a lot. I say this all the time. If you're having trouble with people responding to you or anything like that, you need to look at what you're saying and how you're saying it. Seek out somebody who, your upline or somebody else. A lot of times when I have people say, I can't book a party, I can't get anybody interested in joining my team, I say, send me the text or the message that you sent to somebody. I want to see what you're saying. And a lot of times your words are just too focused on you, or they are way too salesy. We are not in a sales business. Okay, we are in a sales business. We're in a people business first. But when you just throw, I have so many Facebook messages that I open them and cringe. Like, there are reasons people roll their eyes or like get annoyed when they hear direct sales. And it's because sometimes people are just far too salesy. You are seeking out your interest first. You're in it for your profit. And I know we're all in it for profit. I get that. I'm not saying that I don't want you to be focused on making money. I do. But the way that you approach people and the words you say really, really matters. So sometimes it's a self-reflection and evaluation of what am I saying, and am I saying it wrong? How could I word it differently? And ask for help. Ask somebody to help you with your wording. Go to your director, go to your sponsor, go to somebody that you trust and say, if I sent you this text, would you want to respond? How could I say it better? Here's the result I'm trying to get. What could I do differently? Okay. Barb says, do you have a recommendation for training online marketing regarding social media, such as Facebook or Instagram? Any specific person that you would suggest, even if it's a paid course? There's just so many out there. There's a ton of training out there. And here's something that's important to remember. If you've been doing this for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, if you're still running your business the exact same way you were then without any changes, it's not going to last long, because we are ever evolving. And your business has to be ever evolving. That's why I say it's okay to try something and then take it back. Like, that's not working anymore. We're not going to do that. You need to be changing constantly. And that means learning new things. Brian and I are in the middle of a program right now, learning a lot more about online marketing. We're looking into webinar space. So there's a lot of research around working with webinars and curiosity marketing, targeting Facebook ads, all kinds of things. Not spending tons of money, but really trying to learn specifically. I don't really have a specific person necessarily, Barb. There are a few that I like. I think Social Tenacity has some great information. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I think do your research, though, and find reviews, and that's really important. Okay. Okay, so here's another thing, and I'll just speak on this for a minute. Oh, it's 9 o'clock, but I am going to say this. There is really something to be said about being in person with somebody. There's something about people experiencing your product. I told you we're doing a lot of training right now, just personally learning about online marketing, and there's a lot to be said for that. But there's also something to be said for having people in your community engaged in your product. There's something to be said for you getting to explain how a diffuser works while they're sitting in front of a diffuser. There's something to be said for them holding bars and testers in their hands and smelling them and engaging with people around them. There is so much to be said for that. If you have not had some sort of gathering, if you have not had some sort of event, I don't care what you call it. It's not to be a party, but there is something about people engaging with our product that makes it super, super sticky. And what I mean by sticky is it gets in their brains and they think, I really like that. Like, I love that. And so much of it is tied to scent. Scent is incredibly tied to our memory and to our emotion, and it gets a hold of us. It's super sticky, and we can't get enough of it. And so if you haven't yet had that experience, whether in a party setting, whether in a coffee shop, whether just at a girls' night, at an event, anything, you need to seek that experience out because it will rejuvenate your business. If you're struggling in that area, there's a really good video from, a couple months ago, right here on this page called Thinking Outside the Party Box. We talk about different ways to have people engaged in your product, and that is so, so important. Some of you really, honestly, it just starts with you setting goals right in that sweet spot of discomfort. I'm not asking you to do anything crazy and delusional that you wouldn't do. For instance, a delusional goal for me would be to talk to 3 strangers a day or 5 strangers a week, or talk to strangers would be a delusional goal for me. And not really, that's me being dramatic. Sometimes I talk to strangers, but when I feel forced to do it, or when I feel like I have to share the Scentsy opportunity with somebody, I won't do it. That is delusional to me. There are some of you that you could do that in your sleep, but that's where that discomfort zone comes in. So I may not need to say I am going to talk to 5 strangers and meet 5 new people every week, but I may say even a goal for me that would make me uncomfortable, but that could grow me and change me long term would be even like introducing myself to somebody when I'm at bar class, or like somebody I see all the time that I'm becoming acquainted with. Oh, maybe you should introduce yourself to them. Like that to me even is a little bit discomforting to me. I came home the other day from, I go to Pure Bar. If you're in Edmond and you want to go with me, I would love for you to go with me. It's one of my favorite places. But I went the other day and I came home and I told Brian, I'm like, you'd be so proud of me. He's like, what? He's like, I was like, I talked to 2 people today. He was like, what? I was like, I talked to 2 people. He's like, you talked to them? I'm like, yeah. And I introduced myself and I asked them their names and I remember their names. And he's like, that's a big step for you. I'm like, I know, discomfort. That was discomforting to me, but I grew. And it's so important that you figure out where that discomfort zone is. Here's what you need to know. You are so much stronger than you think you are. You're in so much more control than you think you are. This is a business of personal growth. If you're stuck, it's time to grow. If you're not moving the direction you want to move, it's time to grow. If you're in a place where you feel like, I don't know what to do next, it's time to grow. This will continually evolve you if you will engage in it. If you will be willing to set the goal, to go to the place that's a little uncomfortable, to set the goal that takes your challenge and your focus. That's where I want you to be. That's where we should be reaching towards. It is so, so important. So remember, to help you get to that achievement place, challenge yourself. You can do it. Create competition. I don't care who it's with. It could be within your team. It could be with somebody you're watching on Facebook. It could be a competition they don't even know about. Your chances of winning are better if they don't know that you're competing with them. Find that space of competition. Create or find or engage in community and celebrate. That's my favorite part. We should all be celebrating more. I love you guys. I'm super proud of you. You're doing things that are hard. This is really, really good work. And y'all are killing it. Happy December. I won't be here next week because I'm having surgery, but somebody will. I actually don't know yet who's going to be here. So next Tuesday, at 8 o'clock Central Time, somebody will be here. And you'll learn something great. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be fantastic. Thanks for taking the time to invest in yourself. I can't wait to hear about those challenging goals. I'd love for you to post them and share them. Only within a community that will actually help you reach them. Remember, we're not sharing our goals publicly because that's not good. We're sharing them with a community. Oh, the reason you don't share your goals publicly is you're less likely to reach them when you share them publicly because you think you saying them is almost like reaching them. Isn't that not the craziest thing ever? No, we want to share our goals with the people who will actually help us reach our goals. So, y'all have a great week, and I will see you on the 19th. I was looking at my calendar. I'll see you on the 19th, and we'll talk about designing your year, but make sure you tune in next week because I'll have a super fantastic surprise guest for you. I'll talk to you then. Bye.